What's success look like for you, Ricky, for Postecoglou next season?
I would probably say the quadruple
Good.
because
That is
Pep's
success.
just done the treble, so the quadruple we take all four. Honestly, I am. Although it's something I want more than anything to win a trophy, I think it's got to be one of those things where we don't just focus purely on winning a trophy, like putting it on the back burner for this time being, while we have a new manager who plays completely different football to what our squad's been used to and trained to over the last 3 or 4 years with three different managers. It's going to be a very, very bumpy start. And I don't think results are going to go our way. There's going to be some that will be surprising, some that are going to be a real gut punch, some where we'll probably be laughed at a lot. And I just think we have to rough it out. I was listening to what I think listened to a snippet. I can't remember where I heard it now, but a snippet of a podcast that Postecoglou had done maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where he says about going to a club and uh the first 6 months of it being rough and bumpy, but that's his favorite part because that's where he's lining up his ducks, getting them all in order. But it's where he really kind of gets into the guts of what he's there to do and to sort everything out. um and I think he said after his first game uh, as manager of Celtic, he lost and he had to leave the country. So, and he started laughing about it. But he said after that and getting through the other results, and then he started to see what he was telling the squad how to train and how to play and how to think, and that mentality came along. And when he could see that, he was like, right, we're seeing green shoots now. It's fucking on. Um, but if I was to say what success would be like for me, I think it's just to see at the end of the season, to see Tottenham play with an identity, to be able to watch us and to be able to say, this is how we play football. This is how we're going to set up. This is I know we're going to press here. I know when our wing back is going to cut inside and go for these types of passing. I know when we're in possession, this is how the team's going to play. I just kind of feel like over the past, especially last season, that I don't really know what we're trying to achieve. It feels like we've been caught in two different types of football, really, and it's just been so boring and dour. And when we then try to think, okay, let's be a bit more attacking, it just comes undone, and we just get beat, and we're just caught in no man's land. So, for me, success is just being able to identify how we're playing and have a bit of pomp about us.
So you would have clicked just to entertain me.
Yeah.
About you, Cal?
I think I might have clicked that. I think I saw that poll. But I think tangible. Like, what's kind of the tangible things you want? I think top six. I think top six is kind of par for Spurs. So even though yes, it's his first season, yes, he's going to want to change things. I still kind of expect Spurs to be a top six club. So I would say top six, and to beat the top teams at home. That's kind of what I'm looking at, is to beat Arsenal at home, especially them. But to beat those other 5 teams at home or not lose at home. I think that's a big thing that was really wrong last season, was our home form. To have Brentford beat us at home, Villa beat us at home, Newcastle beat us at home. We lost a lot of home games, and I think for now what we want is, yeah, we may not get in the top 4, we might not win a trophy, but we want to go to White Hart Lane and enjoy being at White Hart Lane, and us turning over teams that perhaps we wouldn't always.
I do worry for the 1%, the 10% rather, the 10.1% who voted we must win something. So I guess that there might be an air of frustration, the fact that they've been patient or expectant over the last 3 years, even under Pochettino. So you could say the last 7 years that we haven't won anything, come close a couple of times, but they're like, we must win something this season. I tell you what, if you're one of the 1 in 10 who think that nothing else but winning something this season is acceptable, you are going to have a miserable experience following Spurs probably for the rest of your life. Because if we win something, then what becomes the minimum then? Is it 2 trophies? Is it a league title? If must-win something is a League Cup, is it the FA Cup next season? At this stage, we're rebuilding. Often we talked about a transitional season at Spurs. This is a transitional season. Every fucking season seems to be a transitional season. But this season is one because we've got a new manager with new ideas who's fundamentally trying to change systematically how we play. These are players that have had drilled into them for the last 3 years. Play in a low block, be defensive minded, hit them on the counter, do your job, do what's required for the team. Whereas Postecoglou is going to ask the same things but in a completely different way. Attack them, rip them apart, grab them by the throat and let them know that Tottenham Hotspur are on this football field. That's the difference. Can players who have been indoctrinated under this side, under the management ideals and ideologies of Conte and Mourinho, can they quickly shift to this new way of thinking, this much more attacking, aggressive way of playing, which, by the way, doesn't guarantee success in the same way that Conte's system, while it probably had a better chance of success because it's much more pragmatic, you play percentages, it doesn't guarantee success, but it's much more fun on the way. So this is transition in its purest form. Tottenham Hotspur are in transition. If we win something in transition, it would be a miracle because we've not won stuff when things are going well or feels like everything's in place. The beginning of this season, we felt like everything was in place. Look at the fucking state of this season. One of the most depressing I've ever experienced. So if we win something in transition under Postecoglou, build a statue before Bill Nick because it would be that much of an achievement. If one person has to have a statue quickly, it should be Bill Nick and not Postecoglou. But I'm just saying, if he wins a title or he wins a trophy in his first season, given the challenges that are presented to him, then Postecoglou should be heralded. And if you can't go into this season saying we must win something or else, I kind of feel like if you're voting must win something, then your issues with Daniel Levy, not Postecoglou. It can't be with Postecoglou. We did get this message. Actually, I say we did. It was on the Fighting Cock forum. It's from Good Day. It wasn't from Good Day from Australia. It was just from a bloke from Australia. I've forgotten his name. It says, just wanted to provide a word of caution by way of expectation management. Since this thread was made, it was a thread saying, what can you expect from Postecoglou? If you're only giving Ange 6 months, he won't have time to deliver. Ange has won trophies everywhere he's been in the last 10 years, but just be aware that every single one of those winning clubs started badly. Celtic, Yokohama, Brisbane Roar, and the Australian national team all had issues at the outset before coming good much later. Very often, his first 6 months in the job can be very rough while the players adjust to his hyper-aggressive, high-intensity style. Results can sometimes be middling and unpredictable during this period. There will be moments when fans and the media will call his very high-press naive because when it goes wrong, it looks really ugly and you will leak very silly-looking goals. The attacking philosophy will be visible and obvious reasonably early, but the defence may look weak. I'll warn everyone now, if it will not surprise me one bit if Spurs are in the bottom half of the table after 6 months in the job. And some of you will be calling for his head. My advice would be to hold your nerve when this happens. This will take courage and a huge dose of understanding. So there's 2 major issues here, Ricky, doesn't he? He's got a defence that doesn't work currently, certainly not in a high line or any kind of line. It certainly doesn't work in a low block. So he's got to fix that. And he's also got to fix the, or expect a level of understanding from a fan base who's anything but. Just quickly, Brisbane Roar were regarded as the best team that Australia has ever seen. Ever seen. The best team. Yeah, will he? He's got to fix the defence, and will he get the time? Do you think, Rick? Will we jump on him? Do you think?
I think this time we've got to learn from our lessons of these quick fix managers of Conte and Mourinho, thinking that people can parachute in and with the team and squad that we have, that they'll be able to win something, and that they're a top 4 team where it's not going to be like that. We need to go back into where Potts took over, and there were some rocky results, and he needed to kind of identify who were the players that were going to take Tottenham forward, and so you need to give him that chance to be able to do that. But then also, shit, I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, let me ask you this question.
Bollocks.
Stop saying that.
Yeah, go on.
But let me ask you this question, Rick. If we're in the bottom half in 6 months' time, come January, would you give him patience? Are you going to be, let's just trust the process in inverted commas?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That, and exactly what you've just highlighted as well.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was. I swear down.
Okay.
I was going to say, if we look down the road towards the swamp, Arteta was given time. I think where did he finish?
Fifth.
Yes, I mean, and then now look where they are. You know, you have to be able to give managers time, and like you're saying about holding your nerve, it is gonna fucking sting. It is gonna sting, boy. When we are 14th, 12th, we're being slapped about by Brentford or whoever it is.
Season before last, Arsenal lost their first 3 games. They got battered by Brentford. They lost their first 3 games. Arsenal fans were calling for his throat to be slashed, and it didn't. It did not happen. It did not happen. They backed him, and now they should have won the league last season. Look, we may be in this situation. Not that there's direct parallels between Arsenal and Tottenham. We may be in a situation where we really have to be patient with him.
I just think we should kind of, like I was saying about not put trophy on the back burner or Champions League on the back burner or anything like that. But to stop, that's where our pure focus is. That's where the end game is. That's where, you know, it's the first game of the season, we lose that, and we're like, oh, we're way off Champions League spots. Let's just focus on the here and now and enjoy that, and enjoy us playing attacking football again, and you know, seeing Son and Kane back in their pomp and those types of things. Basuma coming back. Let's just try and stick to the positive parts rather than we've lost a few games, so rival teams are laughing at us, so then we just switch and we're taking to Twitter to, I don't know, start a hashtag to get someone out or something like that.
Well, this is where Daniel Levy has to be strong. This is where Daniel Levy has to go. Like, I know he ignores Twitter anyway, and he should, but this is where Daniel Levy needs to go. We trust in him. We're gonna build around him, and we think he's the right man. Like Twitter hashtags and having conversations about Twitter. I think going forward, like on this podcast, like unless if it's a ridiculous hashtag, I'm not gonna fucking mention it anymore. It's ridiculous. It doesn't help. Sorry, Rick. I jumped all over your point there.
No, it's all right. I think I'd said my point basically. I just think we have to stick. We can't afford to be chopping and changing managers as regularly as we do if we want to try and build something ultimately. And if we're trying to build something, you have to take the rough with the smooth, and we are going to see that. Everyone is reporting that the first 3 months, 6 months, the first time he was at Celtic or wherever it was, that to get his ideas across, his philosophy, the way he plays football, and instruct it into the squad, for him to kind of pick up what Tottenham's about and the fans, and to kind of have that that feeling amongst us, then we're going to have to rough it out, and it's down to us to not make it any harder than that is, where, you know, fans are going to be split into different groups. Some want him out, some want Levy. It's just, you just got to sit and wait it out, really, until we get to a point where it's near, you know, at the turn of Christmas, when they say, if you're in the bottom 3 by Christmas, these teams have never ever escaped relegation. If we're anywhere near there, then we've
get him out.
Well, get him out now. Get him out.
Well,
Away.
That was a question I was going to ask Cal. Before I was going to say that, your mum's had my point, Ricky.
Right.
Yeah, good. Several times.
Good.
She loved it.
In the bum.
Really enjoyed. No, not in the bum. In the bum. Rick. No, that's too
crass.
much.
That's
that
crass.
is crass. Come on, mate.
It's crass.
What's wrong with you? But the question was, what scenario would see Postecoglou sacked by Christmas?
Do you know what? When
Bottom
you read
three, bottom three.
Yeah. When you read the question and you said 6 months, right? So 6 months is 2/3 of the season, right? So, and I'm counting 6 months from the first game, right? Not from July the 1st. 6 months is 2/3 of the season. And when you read the question, it wouldn't surprise me if he was in the bottom half after 6 months. I was raging. I was fucking raging.
What, 11th, 12th?
Yeah, I was inside. I was raging. I was like, who is this fucking Australian Choswazza doing coming into my club and making us? Yeah, it's off The Simpsons. I was like, who is this guy coming into my club and making us 12th? I'm not having that. So but Rick is right. If it's like February and we're 13th, he's got to go. But if we're in, because I think Pochettino's first season, I think we was around 8th. I don't know I think we finished 5th, but we was around 8th for a while. If we're like 8th, 9th, but you can see something, we're playing good football, we're beating good teams at home, our home form's good, the crowd are happy, then do you know what? Let him build, let him have another season. But yeah, if it's like 13th, 14th, it's like fucking get out of my club.
But we have to look at what he's achieved. Rack off. Rack off. We have to look at what he's achieved elsewhere, and what he's achieved is significant. Let's give ourselves the best chance of success and let him do what he's done elsewhere. When he was at Celtic, he had his first game were Champions League qualifying. Midtjylland drew away from home or at home. He drew first leg. Second leg he lost, and they're out of the Champions League just like that. First game of the Scottish Premiership, played Hearts, lost. His first game, lost. Celtic don't lose, right? They might lose one in the season. And they lost 1 or 2 this season, one of them against Rangers. Celtic don't lose. There's Celtic fans going, who is this guy? And there was when he arrived, who is this guy? Is he good enough for us? Should he be here? They gave him time, and now you've got Celtics fans giving me grief merely because I support Spurs, because our owners went to their owners and said, we're taking your manager, have that, or take all this money, shove it down your gob, buy another fucking whatever they eat up there, haggis, and then buy a couple of haggis and be happy. Right, that's nothing to do with me because my club went and took your manager. I'm getting grief for this. So Celtic fans loved him, absolutely loved him. Let's give him a chance to break our hearts in 3 years' time when Real Madrid come knocking for Australian/Greek Ange Postecoglou. Imagine that.
Yeah.
How fuming we're going to be with Real Madrid. Can they fucked us again? Because Postecoglou is such a good manager that he needs to leave Spurs for a better opportunity. Imagine
they're not
that.
bigger than Spurs, Real Madrid, they're not bigger than Tottenham.
Well, there you go. There you go. This is a conversation for Celtic fans. Yeah, I think anything that entertains in the first 6 months, 7 months, then that would be good. Top 6 finish would be incredible. Any improvement on 8th while playing good football is acceptable as well for me.